The moment it happened, William Peterson knew. He knew in a way the Vietnamese farmer in his nightmares turned oddly, jolting him awake in the early hours of October 11th. He knew in his subsequent trudge to the bathroom when he reached for the light switch in the dark and took longer than usual to find it. His clammy feet stuck to the cool tiling. His breathing was labored, like it tended to be more and more these days, and he simply understood. Vincent's absence was clear in the aching. It was not the absence of a decade of total familial disconnect. That heaviness reared its head in other ways. A month before the fishing trip, he'd seen a young boy bouncing on his heels in the way Vincent used to do, and it would take him a moment to remember his son was 34 and lived in Philadelphia. It had taken him another hour to stop thinking about whether he should reach out. That was the pain of disconnect. Little flashes of the past and present overlapping. Guilt. This was different. This was the world being colored wrong. Everything moved half a centimeter to the left. A butterfly flitted past his ear and he heard its wings flapping. The garbage trucks picked up trash on Tuesday now, but he could have sworn it had been Mondays before. Some suits dropped an envelope on his doorstep and he burned it. The flames were brighter than they should have been. They moved weirdly. January rolled by and the new year brought a couple of feds to his home. There was nobody, they told him. It was a covert mission for the ATF, they told him. They asked him to sign the death certificate, and he did. They handed him a small box of Vincent's belongings, knickknacks from his desk in Philadelphia, a family photo album, his dusty dog tags, some clothing, a roll of film, and a creased business card for Dr. Martin Lauderdale. He tucked it away deep in the hallway closet once they left. William found Vincent's apartment already occupied. The leasing office refused to let him inside, though he'd never know it. Behind the door, nothing had really changed. The tape of Spencer Dixon's transformation was still lying where Vincent left it, stashed into a cupboard besides a broken coffee machine he could never muster enough motivation to replace. CARRADINE turned the unit into a stash of weapons and artifacts for the group. Agents would stash or take gear, and some would even use his gunsmithing tools to create ammunition or get guns ready for the action. Nobody questioned who the space once belonged to as they stepped in and out of walls that once saw just one life. The receptionist offered William a tour of an empty two-bedroom in the same building. He declined, asked to use their phone, and called the only number he had. Dr. Lauderdale picked up after 3 rings. 2 days later, the men found themselves trekking through Wissahickon Valley together. Lauderdale had suggested the place as he'd known Vincent to hike the area from time to time. It was eerily still along the fog-blanketed trail. William watched his breath as it puffed out from his nose like so many small clouds. They decided on a gnarled, old-growth black oak well off the beaten path, a place they could never find again if they tried. Lauderdale dug the hole and William placed the empty urn with Vincent's name etched upon the metal into the earth. They stood in silence. Vincent's eulogy was whispered by the rustling branches overhead. One May, midnight, William bolted upright in bed, having been awoken violently by the sound of Vincent shouting his name. After a few panicked gulps of air, he calmed enough to notice the hallway was illuminated by a flickering light. He stumbled out of his room, heart pounding, pajama shirt cold and sticky with sweat, unable to shake the feeling that Vince's voice was still ringing in his ears. The TV in the living room was on, playing static. William reached behind the box and tugged the power cord from the wall. Darkness fell over the house and he dropped the cable. It dangled from the back of the television. He straightened up and his gaze affixed upon the centerpiece of the mantel over the TV. The photograph, the only non-corrupted image in the roll of film from Vince's apartment, was displayed in a simple black oak frame. In it, they both sat in the boat, fishing. William's back was turned to the camera. He hadn't known Vince was taking a picture, but he didn't care. All that mattered to him was that his son was smiling.
Fellow travelers and retirees, tonight we introduce something new for you all. Tonight, we perform funeral rites for the recently departed. The world of Delta Green is cruel in its madness and unforgiving in the grand cosmic scheme of it all. But the agents who put their lives on the line to hold back darkness deserve to be remembered for all of their good and bad traits. Spoilers ahead, so if you haven't listened to the show up to this point, you would be best served to do so. With tonight's episode, we begin the hopefully occasional interlude episode that we call Deathbed Confessional. And tonight we're going to talk about Vincent Vince Peterson, who was played by our wonderful, wonderful player Lukas. So how will this work? The player whose agent died, should they wish to do so, can talk about that agent's background that didn't organically come up in play, such as their birthday, previous connections in their work life, whatever makes sense, favorite moments from the cast relating to Vince, things like that. So I guess with that, I'm going to just open the floor up for discussion as we remember this fallen agent who has shuffled off of this mortal coil to somewhere else. So, Lukas.
Yes.
How does it feel to have your agent die?
Oh boy.
Let's start there.
Well, for the listeners, it's already been almost a week. So we are not recording this like fresh after Vince got brutally fucked over.
Phone noise.
It's Vince. He's communicating through the signal realm.
Oh, God.
Oh, man.
Oh, real quick, I forgot to mention, we have the wonderful voice of CARRADINE with us in the form of Harrison. Because Mike isn't here. I almost forgot to say, Mike is somewhere else. He's maybe in the signal realm looking for Vince. I don't know. But carry on, Lukas.
Damn, getting all passive aggressive out here. So hey, to be fair, ephemeral garlic was quite stressful at the end. So I think everybody was kind of, or at least I hope everybody was kind of prepared to die. But still having his little red veins yeeted out of him, reducing his constitution to 3 was quite a shocker. And on one hand, I am very glad that this poor man did not have to suffer through a life of physical therapy and a whole lot of debt. On the other hand, goddamn, I did not expect him to die that soon. Yeah. So, starting with, since you talked about it, I actually checked. I had to check, and he has a birth date, because normally I only assign the age for my agent and forget about the rest. So he was born on January 20th, 1955, which, if we go by Delta Green rules, makes him 33 years old, which absolutely makes this one a critical.
Well, I mean, it didn't save him, though. It didn't save him. Also, the unfortunate thing is that the man who put Vince down for good, which was Eddie, played by Mike, isn't here. So it's unfortunate that he cannot speak from his own perspective from that side. Mike, I wish you were with us. But,
He's not dead, by the way, listeners.
Yeah.
He's just not here today.
I mean, you don't know.
This Deathbed Confessional is just for a fictional character. We are not talking about
I'm pouring
any
one out.
members.
I'm pouring one out, not because he's dead, but because I'm an alcoholic.
Which Vince also.
Speaking of alcoholism, let me just dive into some of the thoughts I had when creating the character, when like coming up with it, and I think after that the rest of you all can just chime in, ask questions, whatever. So when we all made our characters, first of all I was like, oh hell yeah, the ATF has like a bomb defusal idiot. I'm gonna absolutely play that one, because it was so like different. Like he's like a federal agent, but also he's just an idiot defusing bombs.
He's not the normal kind of federal agent. He's
he's not the normal
slightly
kind of federal
different.
agent, but he still has federal authority, which is very nice. And so that was my only thought when first like coming up with a character. Normally I always do that. Like I don't pick a backstory. The backstory comes naturally when creating a character, at least for me. And I most of the time just like scroll through the endless pages of the complex or the agent's handbook and just go like, okay, what could be cool? What kind of skill set would I want to use, or maybe even what kind of skill set could be needed for the group composition? So yeah, Vince as an explosive specialist of the ATF, that thought came quite early, but then I had to think about like, okay, what's he actually like? How old is he? What is he doing in his free time? Like, what am I gonna spend his bonus points on? I normally don't wanna spend all of them on just job related stuff. So there were a few things. I always liked the idea of stuff like gunsmithing, like creating your own ammunition and going into the process of getting new parts for the guns, maybe, or just modifying a semi-automatic rifle into an automatic one,
Which
stuff like that.
I will say with the whole angle of gunsmithing, just to jump on that real quick, kind of an interesting way to make that work for the 1980s, because when you think of gunsmithing, at least for me in the modern age, you think 3D printing. 3D printers did exist. They were just massive and super fucking expensive, and like the average person would not have been able to have owned one. So like when Lukas came to me with the idea of him wanting to be a gunsmith, like I was thinking like, how the fuck am I going to make that work? Ammunition crafting, which I'm thankful we got to explore that a little bit with Ephemeral Garlic with Dragon's Breath rounds. Because that's not something that's listed in the agent's handbook as being an ammunition type. So I was like, well, how the hell would that work? And then me and Lukas were talking about it. And it's like a shotgun does 2d8. But then I was like, let's add a 1d4 to kind of simulate like flame damage to a degree, or extra oomph, so to speak. Because, I mean, my thinking with that goes back to like D&D type of shit, where it's like, you hit, you get like a plus D4, like a 1d4 for like fire damage and shit. But then there was also the added angle of like, somebody could catch on fire. But it may not always happen, so then we came up with having a luck roll occur. 50% chance of them catching on fire or not, to kind of like simulate that. Which I think worked out really well.
It never happened though, which was kind of sad.
Well, it happened once.
Yes.
Yeah, but not against an actual enemy. I think it was against
you, actually. unless we didn't roll
I
that.
I don't count myself as an enemy in front of my own barrel.
I mean, when you roll a 100, man, sometimes things just play the way they play out.
I didn't.
No, I'm talking about Eddie. So,
So I also wanted to, like, obviously we're creating new or newish Delta Green agents, and I think the talk was already going around of like everybody doing some little secrets and all of that, and I was like, all right, okay. From our accursed episode 0 that we
we'll never see the light of day.
That will never see the light of day. It will die.
It will remain locked up on our hard drives until we eventually meet the same fate as our characters.
At which point we will also shoot the...
yes.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Nobody
full
ever
self-destruct.
gets to see that shit.
So, from our accursed session 0, I knew that like Kimble had worked with the CIA and shit. I knew that Scott was like a disgraced academic and all of that. So I was like, okay, that's kind of cool, but I want something that's relatable for like, I guess, me. I'm not saying I'm an alcoholic. Please don't think that. I don't have a problem with alcohol. I have a problem without it. Yeah. So I just thought about, okay, what can I do to make this character kind of relatable? And that was just like, okay, he's alone. He's just sitting in his apartment the whole time. Like, he's sleeping on a on a sofa that can be extended into a somewhat bad situation. And he has like one room that's specifically for his gunsmithing hobby. The rest of it is like in the normal living room where he sleeps and cooks and whatever. And yeah, he's just lonely. And I've had so many plans of like the first disorder that he's gonna get would be depression. Like, he's slowly getting into that slide. Like, his normal life's becoming, well, muddled, I guess. It's becoming too normal. He doesn't feel anything of that anymore. It's just a repetitive day by day goes by, and he then sits on his couch, drinks, and all of that. So I felt like that's gonna be a fun thing to explore. Because obviously when we create Delta Green characters, we create them to be doomed, basically.
Yes.
I'm not gonna create a character and see his rise to fame and his rise to power. I'm gonna create a character and I'm gonna see him completely fuck up. I'm gonna see him die, obviously, but before that, I'm gonna see him spiral completely out of control. And that's what I wanted to do with Vince. As I said, first thing would be depression, and I sprinkled some stuff in before that. Like, he was happy that he got a call to go on to the mission in Kansas, because it took him out of his repetitive loop.
It gave him purpose.
The shit, like, yeah, exactly. It gave him purpose. He can fulfill his motivations, which, we never got to them. His motivations.
Very good, yes.
The first of them is like cleaning the streets of America. He works as a bomb diffuser. He's somewhat patriotic. This would have been actually the first one to go. Yeah, he's somewhat patriotic, and he's like, okay, we gotta get illegal weapons and like bombs and all of that. We gotta get that off the street. We want a future for the country, so that's not gonna work. The second one I'm gonna skip. The third one is getting the job done. I'm gonna come to the second one in a second, but the third one is like getting the job done. Like, shit has to be done, obviously. Like, we gotta get through this. This is our purpose. So we gotta give our best, and that was his mindset. And the second one, which is my favorite one, which is just surviving day by day.
Oh God, that would have been so sad.
I mean, it's relatable though, man, because like there's so much going on in the 80s, and there's so many, in my mind, there's so many parallels to shit that's going on right now. Which, when Lukas came to me with the idea of wanting to play somebody that's more normal, and I'm like, okay, this could work, you know? Like, because I enjoy that kind of shit. Like, I wanted to have a character or work with a player who had an agent that was just a relatively normal guy who is in this heightened reality of Delta Green, you know? Like, it's super real, you know, like depression, alcoholism, and how much further would he have spiraled, like, if he got more disorders, do you think, actually?
I'm not too sure for the next one. I only planned the first two because I didn't think that they would instantly come this soon. Because like when he died, he was like 2 sand points away from hitting his second breaking point.
The Single Realms were brutal.
Ephemeral Garlic ate a lot of his sanity. So yeah, he when he died, he was at 47. And his breaking point was at 45.
Jesus Christ.
Yep.
Oh, man.
So, yeah. He also only started with one bond, which was his therapist, Dr. Martin Lauderdale, which I think Max portrayed quite
Thank you.
perfect to how I imagined it.
I will say on that point, actually being in therapy myself made it easy to flip that role and play the part of the therapist, because, like, you know, how my therapist talks to me, I was like, I can replicate that. And I'm okay talking about that kind of shit, because it's like, I'd rather be real and honest and transparent about it, you know, because all those experiences and all that kind of shit just informs how we play the game. and there's nothing wrong with that. You also did quite well seizing on the different, like the metaphor, like the pendulum metaphor back in the Stonefall home scene. That.
Yeah, I mean, that's every time I projected on Lauderdale, I think I projected on him twice, and every time I said, like, fucking pendulum stuck, fuck you, Lauderdale.
That was true. And here's kind of like, to touch on that, like, I didn't really have a plan with like what I could do with Vince, and in the sense of like, with everybody else's like so-called quote unquote secrets, seeds to be planted for later with regards to them. It made it easy to do that. Not that it wasn't easy to do with Vince. I just felt like what could happen with him would have unfolded organically. Like, it would have been like a true like reactionary kind of thing. Like, he goes to therapy. His therapist says, "Hey, why don't you try and talk to your dad again?" And then he went and talked to his dad again. And, also another really great scene. God, all that shit was just really good.
Yeah.
And I mean, and then he made the successful dice roll. And the whole time, man, I was like, fuck, I hope he gets this, because that would be so cool, And then he did.
Also, it was a 50-50. Like, I have 10 charisma, so it really was a 50-50 roll.
I'd love for you to talk more about like the relationship Vince had with his dad, because you've told us a little bit about it, and it's so
complicated.
Oh my god. Yeah.
So,
go into that.
Yeah, absolutely. Vince's dad wasn't in the picture when I wrote his character. Obviously, he was kind of in the picture, because I had to think about why isn't he with his family? Why is the family not a Bond? So his dad, William Peterson, was born in the 30s, specifically in 1932, and Marion Wilkins, later Marion Peterson, was his mom, and they got in a relationship in 49, in 50, Vince's dad, with exactly 18 years old, got conscripted to fight in the Korean War, returned after like 2 years of service. In 53 they married, and in 55 Vince was born. And when Vince was like 10 years old, like he's had this relationship with his dad until he was like around 10, and it was not the best before. Like, his dad returned from Vietnam. Not Vietnam. That's coming later. That's a surprise tool for later. He returned from Korea, kind of fucked, because obviously you don't return from a war and go through all of that shit, and you're completely unfazed by it. That's not gonna happen. So the relationship between him and his dad was always not the best, and he was more of a mother's boy. And just like when Vince was 10 years old, his dad left for Vietnam, and returned to his family around 4 years later in 69. Nice, by the way.
Nice.
He returns for a year. He was completely disconnected from his family at that point. And then a year later, 1970, he leaves again. And 71, he returns wounded. He limps from a fragment that's still in his leg from an explosion. And then, just 2 years after William returns, completely wounded, completely disconnected, in a state of probably PTSD, Vince also joins the army and basically says, yeah, no, fuck that, I'm out of here. And gets dropped into Vietnam, where he learns bomb defusal. And somewhere around that time, when his dad returned from Vietnam, Vince's mom died. Nothing crazy. It was just like a car crash.
Fuck, I'm thinking about another one, and I'm thinking about how when I say car crash instead of car accident or
the
traffic
car
accident,
crash.
all of you idiots giggle.
Yeah.
Car crash.
I was stifling mine. I hope you appreciate that.
I do. But I also have to giggle myself.
Because we're immature
This,
motherfuckers.
dear listeners, is also a surprise tool that we will have to use later. So she died in a traffic accident, and they both kind of lived in the same house, like Vince and his dad, completely disconnected from each other. Like, he was there, but he also wasn't, which created this big rift between the both of them. And then Vince returned from the army as a somewhat specialist. I mean, he could call himself specialist because he survived the actual bomb defusals. He then joined the ATF, completely moving out of his family home. And at this point, in 88, he hasn't seen his dad in over like 10 years. So when they then met up again and tried to reconnect, which actually worked, it was a somewhat awkward scene because obviously those two haven't seen each other in so long, and both of them aren't the big
emotional types.
Yeah, the big emotional types. I mean, Vince is a perfect candidate for. He always uses his like people's mask, to where he masks his actual feelings and goes into his king in yellow personality. No, but
the fuck? Hello? Hello?
No, he
sorry.
Hello.
Jesus.
He masks his true feelings. And always tries to maim the really stable agent until the sand rolls hit.
Yeah, I think what's really tragic about Vince is that really he's the best out of the entire Kansas team. The most grounded, I mean, honestly, like the most efficient. Like he was just automatically cast as like the leader of the group.
Which was wild, by the way.
Level-headed.
And yet,
You know,
the man had a burning, passionate hatred for Harley Haney.
well, it's just
Who wouldn't?
yeah,
Come on.
it's just this idea of like the best men die soonest, especially in Delta Green. You see that
Pieces of shit
you know,
live.
because they don't the pieces of shit live because they become worse and worse and worse over time. The sooner you die, the more beloved you are as a character. I'm sure if Vince had like continued on, I mean, although like his story is very tragic, like we probably would have started hitting some rough stuff with Vince.
So I have a bunch of different questions. I will just kind of do them one at a time.
Yes.
But the first thing that actually kind of made me wonder about Vince and like maybe some of the darker paths that he could have gone down. And I guess it's also a question for you. So what made you settle on Philadelphia as a home base for Vince?
To be fair, I was like, since I'm not too like knowledgeable about
America,
US cities in general, but I know that Philly, especially in like 80s and 90s, I don't think it has the best
reputation.
what's it called?
Reputation.
Yes.
Yeah, still doesn't.
Wonderful. Yeah, I know that it still doesn't, but I wasn't too sure about back then. But still, I feel like, at least in my head, I had that thought of like, okay, I don't want to settle him into like the nice big thing, you know. Like he's not gonna go to New York. He's not gonna go to Washington D.C. Shit like that. He's
Yeah, you don't want to set him up at Quantico.
yeah. He's gonna be just, you know, keeping himself kind of low, I guess, and also moving somewhere where he had the opportunity to get a cheap apartment.
Which
sense.
in a bad part of Philly it would be the perfect thing. I also remember our conversation being, we were looking at a bunch of different cities to place you. You were looking for kind of a bigger American city that wasn't like the normal, like recognizable go-tos, like you said, New York. I feel like I threw out Chicago. I think I even threw out Baltimore at one point.
Yep.
But then, you know, and then Philly came about, and I was like, shit, that's actually kind of perfect, you know, like, just I think we were looking at population sizes relative to the time period is how that conversation went between you and I. So,
yeah. Also, he's originally not from there. He's from North Carolina originally, and when looking through that, I just picked a city that I think it was Plymouth. Could that be?
Yeah.
What the fuck did I choose? Was it Plymouth?
I think so.
Somewhere around there.
Let me take a look. See.
Yeah,
no, it was Plymouth, North Carolina. Yes.
I just zoomed in and was like, oh yeah, that little bit of river looks nice. That's probably what I picked. So yep, you see why I picked that. Because I said that he and his dad when they were kind of having a normal life together, went fishing and hunting and all of that, even at a young age. So I was looking at somewhere where you could do that, and it looked nice. So I was like, okay, yeah, that's probably, that could be somewhere. It's like a small city.
It's got that like traditional Americana like Main Street because it's that small thing. I think it also, when I was looking it up, it had some sort of museum. It just randomly, like the Port of Plymouth Museum, and there was like some sort of like old like warship there. I'm looking at it now just because I'm curious.
Yeah, that's a little submarine that they have.
Yeah, it looks World War II. I'm gonna throw a picture up in our chat real quick so the rest of y'all can see it. But that's part of like the museum that's there in Plymouth, and I was like, shit, that's really fucking cool.
Oh, it's an ironclad.
Yeah,
Civil War wooden iron ship.
Yeah, yeah, and like there was also something nearby. Like I was like,
oh yeah, right. That thing looks like a submarine.
I will say like things that I was considering for William's background when you brought up Plymouth. Like there was a paper factory that is in that town. I was envisioning maybe he worked there, but then I remembered you said that he had an injury, and so like maybe he just, I don't know, retired on a pension. You know, and was just living alone, drinking the rest of his days away in solitude may not be the right term, but you know, but like you mentioned how, you know, because it's Delta Green, you want to break down a character. One of the few ideas that I kind of had in my mind, like depending on how things would shake out, I would have wanted you to build up a little bit, like him getting that relationship with his father, you know, and you getting that bond back, like build it up enough to where like things start to seem good, and it's like, yeah, you're killing the unnatural and shit, but then after a point, of course, shit starts to go downhill once you start to build it up. Like that was kind of the route that I wanted to take it a little bit. But obviously,
that also ties into like one of the only Mythos directions I could see him go, which is the Lonely.
Oh, fuck. Okay, that's you can't see my face right now, but you know,
that was the only Mythos connection where I 100% saw him. Like he's building up, he's grasping at strings. He's like, okay, that connection with his dad, that reuniting, that worked. Like it shows him like how that worked. So he's now beginning to like, in his left hand he has clutched one string, and with his right hand he's like desperately grasping for more to like get himself back to a standing point, back to somewhere where he can comfortably live and exist. So and maybe that even works for a bit, and then it all comes crashing down on him. So that was
that would have been so interesting, because you know, now with the Lonely, you know, it's weird to see Lonely with actual like alienation these days, because with most modern Delta Green settings, it's, you know, more or less like more like incel adjacent stuff.
Right.
Yes, you're absolutely right there. You said you had a couple questions, Jan. What was your next one?
Yeah, well, kind of like dovetailing off the Philadelphia, because the reason I was wondering is like, you know, talking about some darkness in Vince's past, you know, with the 1985 move bombing, which
I think we actually had
Max,
talked about that. Me and him, I think. Hold on.
Which for readers' context, you can definitely just Wikipedia it yourself. In 1985, the Philadelphia Police Department, there was a black separatist movement which had set up in an apartment block.
We had talked about this, Lucas, I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, tensions escalated. It devolved into a siege situation.
Oh,
and
yeah, that was that one. Mm-hmm.
And it ended with federal agents dropping a brick of C4 through the ceiling.
Which is
And
insane.
American history is fucking nuts. The shit that they don't teach
Yeah.
you. So,
American current is pretty fucking nuts.
all of
too.
it is, man.
Yeah.
We have not changed much at all.
But then, so obviously in actual history, the ATF was not directly involved with MOVE. But, it would stand to reason there'd be a young explosives expert on the scene giving advice, and all of a sudden that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that
And so,
could have been, but I don't think we talked about him being involved in it, but it would have made sense.
I think what may have made me kind of like, because I had that in my mind at some point, but like you said, we didn't really have a way to like tie it in. But then during the therapy scene, Ted Kaczynski,
Right.
Lukas was like, oh shit, that happened, and then I was like, we got something going here, and that was good for me too, because like I just thinking about that in the moment, I was like, oh yeah, Kaczynski was active in the 80s and in the 90s and whatnot too.
Right.
So I mean, like I said, it's just all this, like there's not that many crazy. Let me reword that. There are just so many crazy parallels between back then and now, and like the more things seemingly change, the more they really fucking stay the same. But it was good to be able to play with that, with those kind of like real world like events, and not have any mythos shit tied to it. That was like, I mean, not like outside of like the main operas and everything. So like for me, like as the handler, that was the most fun thing with Vince, dealing with that kind of shit. I mean,
for Vince generally, we talked about him being already an agent of Delta Green, but we've never we never talked about what he actually experienced.
We did a little bit.
Talked about let me finish. Fucker.
Well, fuck you too.
Max being like, oh, I'm so tired today.
I'm amped up now, motherfuckers. Get off my nuts.
Yeah.
Off my nuts.
Yeah, that's why I said, let me talk.
I'm going to shut up and let
I'm
you guys
excited.
talk.
All right.
And
all right,
proceeds
fuck you
to
all.
talk the whole time.
So,
Oh my god.
we didn't talk about the actual operas he had before that. We didn't talk about how many. We talked about his recruiting incident, which was basically we said that, well, sure, he works Bob Diffusal, but he probably also has like normal field duty, because how often do you actually have to go out and defuse a bomb? Well, most of the times they probably have to go out and look at a weird parcel and check if that's something, or especially with the Unabomber being around, having to just being called out to so many scenes for nothing, which is always a relief probably.
Yeah.
But I also thought he probably supported his other like colleagues, because they do still like have to check up on people. They do still like he's probably gonna go on raids and all of that, not as the prime candidate, but I think we all know how work is when people call in sick, when someone just can't make it, shit like that. So the recruiting incident, which was actually brought up in a podcast, was him going up to like basically just the home of someone who they were pretty sure had unregistered firearms. So he and another agent, like dude, had like checkups a year before, seemed relatively compliant, so they just walked in there. They thought he got them through his father's death and didn't register him on his name, shit like that. So just a routine checkup. So they went there. They knocked, like his colleague knocked, he stood a bit to the side, and when the door opened, that fucker just blasted him with some magic, and his face started melting off his face. Which was when Vince then shot him in like absolute terror. And that was brought up once
I think that was in a talk with Kimble actually.
I think it may have been on the
Vince...
car ride to the coroner's office in Great Bend.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think so too.
Does that sound right, Caius?
I'm not.
Yeah, it was brief.
Just briefly. Just briefly.
Yeah.
Yeah. No real details.
Yeah, he just trauma dumped the worst information.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so I saw this dude's face get melted off his skin, off his bone. So hey, how was your day going?
Yep.
Completely normal things.
I feel like that is Kimble's role in this podcast. He's the de facto.
What I can say about my new character is that we have actually talked about shit like that now. Which is fun, but that's all I'm gonna say.
Keep that mouth closed.
I'm very excited when Max is talking with us about the character. He DM'd me and was like, Lucas's new character is cooler than all of your other characters. Go eat a bag of dicks. Like
Harrison is nodding his head in agreement.
All right, I'll go fuck myself.
Yep.
If he's not a deep cover Stasi agent, I'm gonna be very disappointed.
Just you wait, man. Just you wait.
It's like, why does this American agent have a German accent?
Yeah, that's so weird. Every agent of mine has a German accent.
It's not like we're gonna pretend he doesn't have that, and it's just an American accent, So
we just forced Lucas to do it.
Look, he tried.
I forgot my credit card. Is this dairy free?
No. He tried to do his Harley Haney accent.
Oh, please do your.
Yeah, but wife got me
that's
outside
just
out.
Borat.
It sounds like fucking Borat. So.
Oh, sorry, boys. I was just home rubbing my balls.
Jesus Christ.
Fucking 80.
I love you so much.
Wow.
I mean, God. Favorite moments. I guess we could roll into that.
Yeah, I mean, I think,
Did
first,
Yana, you have
before we go
another
to
question?
that-
I'm so
Yeah,
sorry, man.
Yeah, do you have more?
No, it's
Okay.
fine. It's fine.
Let's talk about length, girth, circumcision.
Hello!
Circumcised.
Circumcision.
Hello.
It's like a baby's fist. Like, that thing's humongous.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Smooth and grips hard and doesn't let go,
So have you ever seen a 1 liter wine
I
bottle?
took a drink of water when you said that. Oh my god.
No regrets. No regrets. None of that shit.
Yeah,
Holy
speaking
shit.
of girth, that thing looks like a monster bottle. Like, okay, so
Awful.
yeah, well, you're welcome.
We've had shipping for most of our
Oh,
characters,
Jesus.
but Vince has not been shipped with anyone. It's so tragic.
Good. Let the man be clean.
To get us back on
Yeah.
track for a second, Lucas, do you want to tell us what track you and I have been playing on loop in the background
yes,
for like 2 hours today?
So I do think when the episode drops, I will, or you will, depending on who's awake at the time. There's a ambient mix for the Ready or Not mission Ends of the Earth, which is really smooth, super quiet, but also
Moody as
it's
shit.
just the right tones. Yeah, it is moody as shit. And I sent it to Caius when we were talking about Vince, and I said that's like
I cried.
you're
Jesus.
welcome. That piece of music is what I listened to during the recording of the home scene for the first and only home scene for Vince. Because like back then we didn't have the Watch Together set up, and I was like, okay, I want to get into the mood of like melancholy, probably. Think hits it quite well.
Yeah.
Which was generally the mood for Vince. Just this longing, this melancholy, this like feeling of wanting to be a part of something that makes him feel alive, that makes sense for him.
That's bigger than himself.
So yeah, that's bigger than himself. So That Green was perfect for that. But also, he probably would have liked to do more. Like what? Normally you go on missions for like once a year, on operations because they don't want you to burn out too fast, but also sometimes go fuck yourself. Hey, 3 months, bitch.
Not even 3, 2 months.
Yeah, fair. Same. But yeah, that track really hammers it in. Really sets the mood, basically.
Yeah, I mean, we'll post it, so that way people.
Yes.
We'll post it, and then we've posted it in the Discord. But Lukas also made a really very cool playlist on Spotify
Of music that makes
which was-
sense for Vince's mind state and stuff that he listened to.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah. Quick reminder or quick warning.
like PSA.
Yeah, PSA warning. To be fair, it's not music that Vince would have listened to. It's far from that. It's more like music that I personally like, which means warning: harsh vocals, very harsh vocals.
Metal music. Just call it metal music.
Yeah, it's metal. It's one of the harsher genres. It's not like the hardest stuff because that doesn't hit. I also picked some songs that I feel like are transporting a few things: melancholy, kind of this hope that shines through sometimes, and also songs that portray like being completely fucked.
Yeah.
There are so it changes a bit between them.
Yeah,
And
songs about
I'm-
being rooted to the ground,
Set
set on fire.
Well, I'm curious about how you feel about, about the death itself, right? Because obviously it's like, oh, it was very sudden, it was very fast, like faster than anybody had hoped.
That's Delta Green, though, baby.
But right, but I'm saying specifically about the fact that it was a team member. Because if Eddie didn't do it on a 100,
Scott would have.
no, Kimble would have actually.
Yeah, Kimble would have
Oh.
been on the
Kimble was.
on the turn.
I was typing, so we have a chat like while we were playing, and I typed in the chat, while that was happening. As soon as Vince said that, I said, "You guys focus on the Grey Woman. Kimble will do that."
Oh, shit.
So
Things that are kept
yeah.
from me.
you
the
you
normal
can look
chat.
at the chat at any time.
Oh, wait, was it in the actual, like...
It was in
it
the
was.
actual chat.
Oh,
yeah.
I can't look at that shit because y'all post memes and other dumb stuff like James May going cheese, so
Yeah, but I'm curious about, like, either way, it was looking like you would be killed by a fellow agent. And Vince requested that.
Yes.
I'm curious about how that hit you as a player.
Well, first of all, I'm sorry for having you kill me, basically, first of all. Because while seeing another agent get completely fucked over is bad, killing them themselves can be...
fuck them up.
I mean, one's violence, the other one's helplessness, basically. Or at least that's what I feel like. Like, you
Yeah.
having to kill the agents because Vince requested it. He didn't want to live like this.
Yeah.
He also didn't want the Grey Woman to be the one to kill him. Like, he
Right.
really did not want to give her that. And I feel it's fine. I feel it worked quite well. Even though it was, quote unquote, just the 100. Also, how I envisioned it is like him being like blasted with this shotgun pellets and his skin completely ripped apart, half his face gone, and he just collapsed to the ground. Or, well, would have if those veins wouldn't have held him up. So I feel like it works really well dramatically, and I think it's cooler also for him to die by the hand of his fellow agents, especially after requesting it.
It's also
yeah,
my
I
job
think
to
it
make your
works.
death as cinematic as possible in the horrific way that I can with Delta Green, presented as such.
Right.
The circumstances line up how they did. I mean, like, you kill the evil, but then you also kill your fellow agent in the same breath. I mean, like, that's, I was thinking about it, like, I could have been more evil and been like, one of those random shotgun pellets hits one of the other agents because it was a 100. But then I was like, nah, there was a lot going on, so I restricted myself to just that.
I also feel like there are two satisfying ends for an agent, or generally for any TTRPG character. There's the one end where the character, which rarely happens, has everything accomplished.
Rides
Like,
off into
they
the
go-
sunset.
Yeah, they ride off into the sunset. They end it on their own terms. Maybe their own terms are old age. That can also happen. But basically everything's done. There's nothing else to do, and they're satisfied with now actually dying because they don't have to hold on anymore. And the
Yeah.
other one, which is also like the first one, is more of a like, okay, I'm done now, I can let go, and it's more of a peaceful one. But the second one is the one that happens most often, which is the way more tragic one. Dying before you accomplish the things that you want to accomplish.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff left on his palette. There's so much stuff left to do for him, basically, that it's way more tragic. And I mean, in the epilogue, the listeners have already heard that, but there are a few things that I wanna narrate. Which is, for example, his dad. Like, obviously, that's like an opened like connection, a newly opened connection, or restored even. And they've met up once, spent a whole weekend drinking beer and fishing, and grew somewhat closer. And like now, both of them actually having like the experience, knowing what the other has experienced, which is kind of the only thing that I saw them getting back to like a normal working relationship back together. They now both know what the other has experienced in war. They can't necessarily, or Vince can't necessarily completely forgive his father for that, but at least he knows where he's coming from. And like the rest of the relationship going forward would have been like working out why it happened like this, working out what can be done to actually make him forgive his dad.
A lot of fulfilling
And-
responsibilities, types of home
Yeah,
scenes.
exactly.
Right. And then it just doesn't happen.
It just doesn't
And it's
happen.
left
And
completely unsaid. Everything unsaid.
and the only thing that he now has left in his like father's distant future is a picture they took on the fishing trip that now sits like on a mantelpiece.
Okay.
oh,
Oh, that sucks, man. That's not even something we talked about, but I like that. That fucking sucks.
Yeah.
But
I mean, that was gonna be my question. Is like, what happens to Vince's dad now? Like, all like, and the whole thing is because, and that's the whole like. This is what really, again, spoilers for Ephemeral Garlic. Go listen to it. Why aren't you listening to it yet?
that's my line,
Spoiled.
motherfucker. So
Yeah, but the whole thing is like Vince's body is not on Earth. It is still stuck.
yeah.
And actually, who knows where it is? Because the single dimension was collapsing as we were leaving. So who knows what happened to it?
yeah, who knows if what Scott actually saw on that television was actually Vince or not?
Fuck you. It's not real.
Fuck you.
Is it?
It's
So
not
I mean,
real.
it wasn't. You were tipsy as shit. You had like 6 beers to drink after having a nice steak dinner. You couldn't drive back to your hotel.
Probably like
walked around, and there he was.
And I know he said 6. Probably realistically, it's more like 10. Dude was not.
I
doing
will
well.
say, Lucas, since you weren't part of that, and this is a weird roundabout, weird roundabout
you
way
told
of
me.
knowledge. When Scott got to this hotel in Harrisburg, completely separate and unrelated from other things, the first thing he did get in the hotel room was unplugging the TV, and I'm like, we're gonna fix that. We're gonna change that, and that's why I had to include you walking around the corner, seeing that television electronics store, and I was like, there we go. You can't avoid that, motherfucker. So that's me being an evil handler.
Yeah. No, but speaking of his dad, I think Max and I talked a little bit about this. Like Delta Green's gonna pull some strings. If you remember his introduction in like the actual first episode, they have a friendly in the Philadelphia police, and like they're gonna make sure that everything points to probably something like suicide.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's still
Gutting.
that's gonna fucking suck for him.
Yeah,
That's gonna
and
hurt.
it's gonna fuck over his dad. And it's
Absolutely.
really gonna fuck over his therapist too.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
they will probably need his dad because there's no body, there's no sign of him. So they will probably
Mhm.
need his dad to sign
A death certificate.
a
Yeah.
death certificate, yes.
Oh.
Which will or probably is
Mhm.
already being talked about in the epilogue, because that drops before this
God.
episode.
Mhm.
So grim.
Yes. And so after reopening those old wounds for a weekend where they rekindled their relationship, Vince just leaves him nothing except for this one picture on the mantelpiece.
I mean,
Fucking hell.
that could be
That's-
taken a
that's
couple
grim.
different ways, though. I mean, like, he could cherish that and realize it sucks, but then he, like I was also saying to Lucas, I was like, he could kill himself. Like, as fucked up as
I
that
don't
would
feel
be.
like
But that
he
doesn't
would.
feel right to me either,
No, you gotta
Just-
think that
just-
he was disconnected from his family even after like
Mhm.
somewhat restoring
Yeah.
a glimpse of a relationship. To be fair, people move on, and he probably has moved on somewhat from his family. And now, even though
Mhm.
Vance was back for the weekend, that's not gonna change his whole outcome on life. If they
Right.
would have like
Right.
rekindled the relationship, the father-son relationship, for 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 years, and then this shit happened, that would have been
Mhm.
way more dramatic. But that's a cruelty of life, that it moves on even without the dad, and that you can remember them, but at some point even they will probably need to move on.
Well, you mentioned the suicide angle. It's also possible they could just set him up to be missing.
That's true, but fuck you, that's my epilogue.
Yeah.
Fair.
I was gonna say too, like honestly, making him like just a missing person. That's honestly a crueler thing
Yeah.
than
Yeah. I would say suicide. I mean, it makes sense that they would go that route. I mean, obviously, Vince didn't have the like official disorder
Mhm.
of depression on his character sheet, but you were really sprinkling that in.
Yep.
I know we talked a bit
Yeah.
about, but I like there was that moment with the toaster where he just didn't fix
Yeah.
it. Or he goes to his apartment and there's just stuff scattered, and there's no he doesn't clean it.
Yeah.
Something that I could relate to very honestly, and also why that I'm glad that in a way we kind of had that representation, because
Yeah.
it's hard, man. Sometimes it's just hard to just do
Be a
the normal
person.
things. Yeah, it really is. Like,
And I think that's what makes Vince such a it is so poignant that he was the first to die. I mean, I said this earlier. Like, he really was the best of the team, and I don't just mean that in terms of ability. I mean that in terms of like as a person,
Yeah.
as a character, like the most, just like fully realized and the easiest to identify with.
right.
Really.
And that's the whole thing is the rest of the Kansas, like Vince had very little baggage outside of his what we previously discussed, his depression, his alienation from his family, but in terms of like his personal baggage, like his sins and the skeletons in his closet, he was probably the most pure-hearted of the team too, just in terms of
you
know,
say
'cause
that, but
Eddie-
he wanted to burn a kid's house down. Let's not forget.
But
that.
he
Well,
didn't do
I
it. He didn't
wanted-
do
Yeah,
it,
that's
though.
true.
First of all, I didn't. Second of all, I wanted to do that while the fair was going on, so that nobody will be in the house. So don't fucking twist that onto his dead corpse.
See, it's
Onto his
Eddie
dead
who,
corpse.
yeah, it's Eddie who's the one who I don't. So again, wish Mike were here, but everything it sounds like from the flashbacks, it's Eddie who's the one who really got into some gnarly shit in Vietnam, and
Yeah.
and then it's and then
And
of
Vince
course
did bomb defusal. Like that's
Mhm.
the opposite kind of what Eddie did.
I mean,
Now,
Vietnam
part of the
was
bomb
just
defusal,
going.
part of the bomb defusal thing was trying to clean up, like try to like make American involvement deniable. It's like, oh crap, we weren't supposed to
Yeah.
bomb here.
Mhm.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Well, first of all,
But-
yes, but also he started just like as a normal soldier.
Mhm.
So I don't think. I mean, he has the skeletons in his closet.
Oh
that
yeah,
most soldiers have.
nobody is like 100% blameless. We're not a bunch of this is not 9mm cinnamon bun radio.
9mm cinnamon bun radio.
On radio.
Right.
That's a really
But in-
small cinnamon bun.
Yes.
Just
A disappointing one
bite-sized.
at that.
They're the Cine Mini Radio.
That's so cute.
No, the whole thing is like, because you have Eddie, then you have Scott, who hasn't really shown up yet, but is like, Scott's just a douchebag. He's just a raging asshole. Just a very unpleasant person.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just
He's
and overall-
intriguing, super intriguing, and like complicated. But yeah, like a jackass for sure.
Mhm. And
Starts
then-
out immediately like just a rude.
First of all, turn
rude
my alarm
motherfucker.
clock off. Fuck that shit. Like the first words out of his mouth of the whole show. But this isn't about Scott. When Scott dies,
exactly.
we can talk about
Yeah, but then-
Scott.
But it's like to
Yep.
touch on like the different dynamics. Like you've got Eddie, who is also a hothead and fucking crazy. You've got
Right, in a
Kimble with
different
just
way.
no
Different way.
empathy.
And honestly,
And then
Yeah.
you've got Scott, and he's got this aggression and this ego.
Yes.
And then we had Vincent, and he was just good at what he did.
just a nice guy. Just a chill
I
guy.
mean,
Just
yeah.
a chill guy.
I mean, the man, he knew how to wield a shotgun. He shot Dixon. He knew how to drive a car across an open field for a good while. His instincts were on point. Like, I mean, that's the thing. Vince's instincts were always on point, and the roles reflected that, and how Lukas played them reflected that. Like, I mean, it's my job to set things up to a certain degree, but then you guys take it and run with it. I mean, like, the whole, like, I'm going to start the Ferris wheel and try and fuck up Grant Eisenhart's shot. I'm like, well, damn. Let's see how that plays out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a testament to Lukas and like how you role play.
This is
and
the part where
how
we stroke you off now.
You work to
Yes.
shut the fuck up. How you work to incorporate roles and character into everything that you do. I definitely see some role players who are like, whatever. I get the role and I succeed and I do it and I don't really care. But you work to make it make sense with who you're playing.
Yeah.
Hell
yeah, thanks.
I mean, that's part of it. This is going to be really interesting when the next arc drops. Is the way the group dynamic is going to change because
yeah, it's going to change. All right.
Vince was also Vince was like a major grounding figure too.
Yeah.
Kind of being again the de facto leader of the Kansas team.
Right.
Being the generally the most level-headed. And the one with kind of the least baggage and skeletons in his closet. So losing that, and now you have, who knows what's going to happen. You have Scott on one hand, acting like he's in charge. You have Kimble, Kimble working his own angle. Eddie, who is
a wild card,
complete like
like 36 sand.
Yeah, Eddie, who's like about to snap at any second. So, and then you're adding in this new guy, so it's going to be really interesting to see how that changes.
Oh, yep, yes, it will.
Yeah.
And seeing how this contrasts with Vince.
Yep. I'm
the way
very
Max
excited.
talks sometimes stresses me out.
That's okay. I do it to obfuscate, as I mentioned earlier. Like I say things to just throw things off or hone in on certain things, or it's just the way that I do it. Like, but that's also just my role as the handler. I obfuscate and I have plans within plans. Harrison knows my plans. Harrison is my confidant. He knows the framing of all this shit. Makes it. It's good to have a person that I can sound off with and trade ideas with to make a good game for you guys and shit. But I really want to talk about favorite moments with Vince and Lucas.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Vince. I mean, Lukas. Lucas, Vince. You're now synonymous with each other. Lucas. Favorite moments. Lay them out for us.
Oh, I'm thinking. First, like, there are a few. I don't think there's, like, the one moment, at least for me, that stood out. I think there are a few moments. One of my favorite, first of all, obviously, the scene with the therapist.
Yes.
The scene with Lauderdale, that was fantastic. I very much enjoyed that. I liked the... I think I can. The diner scene with Scott, where it was just Vincent
God.
Scott. First of all, the actual talk, like reconnecting about the old
God, that was
opera.
so fucking good. I
hey,
love that scene so much.
Yeah, like what did you find out in the book? Like shit, like, and then when they got the call, the fry
Fucking
chaos,
fries.
Chaos with the fucking fries. Holy shit!
pocket fries and the
fry ball.
Why was Vince's first
fries
reaction
dot zip.
to ball the fries up and just shove them in his fucking mouth? Why?
So good. It's so good.
And then Scott
Just unhinges his jaw like a
And then
snake.
Scott just taking fries and shoving them in his fucking pocket, and then we forgot about them.
It was so
Jesus.
fun. It was insanely fun. Also,
It's
if
just
you
like this serious moment, and then I love this about you, where you take a serious moment and you're like, nah.
Let's just make it utterly
a
fucking
little bit
insane.
of absurdity into it.
Yeah, Aqua Teen
It's
Hunger
so
Force.
fun.
Oh my god, 9
Yeah,
millimeter cinnamon bun radio. Oh, wait, we post this in general,
Can we add
in
this
real
as a
general,
sticker?
with no
Okay, I will.
Can we add
context.
this as a sticker? Lucas, can you make
Yeah,
this a
no,
sticker,
he
please?
posted it.
I
Yeah,
absolutely
that's
can.
going on the sticker list.
Yeah, I will.
Please.
So I
Please,
think
it's so good.
Okay, so continuing with this, I first of all, I think those are like very good moments. I feel like in Stonefall there were a few that are quite equal, but the best probably would have been like the Ferris wheel scene.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are like my top 3, I would say, in no particular order.
Okay. Caius.
Oh, no.
What the fuck?
Yawn.
Okay.
Alright.
All right. I see how it is. So I guess first, like my number one scene, and it's not like a scene. It was the home scene, but it's reconnecting with his dad. I think that was just in terms of like talking, like actually, like in terms of just like raw role playing. That was, to me, one of the highlights, not just of Vince, but of the show in general. That was you and Max just killing it.
I love that shit. That shit was so good.
Yeah, the Ferris wheel, of course. That was. Of course, again, I'll have to do the lamest thing, give myself kudos to, but the diner scene we had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, to me, the scenes that stand the most are the ones that, like, where we as players get to really show off our role playing chops. And so, reconnecting with his dad, the diner scene, and to a less, like, his Ferris wheel was an action scene, but that was also like very quintessentially Vince, thinking quick on his feet and adding chaos to a situation, but doing it to avoid what he thought would be a worse outcome, which is just allowing this dude to snipe from the Ferris wheel, because who knows how that could have
gone down so many different ways. Like I tried, like I touched on it like back in the Stonefall postmortem, but like to bring it up again, like I'm pretty sure Lucas, you said that like Vince would have tried to like fight the dude like hand to hand, like which would have been fucking badass if that had happened. Like I would have gone like full cinematic, like full on narrating the different fight moves and punches and shit and kicks. Like I would have loved that shit. I would have gone ham on that.
I mean, the thing with that was my thinking about this, which by the way, Haney absolutely ruined. Fuck you, Haney. I will hate you in all eternity. I will drag you to the radio round with
everybody. Everybody everywhere is like, fuck you, Lucas. Haney's the best. So
no, let me explain why I feel like that wasn't good. So first of all, Vince has like 15 firearms, which is okay. It's not too bad. However, he has 70 in unarmed combat.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's trained in unarmed combat. And I wanted to get information out of Grant that we didn't get out of the Eisenharts before. Because we there were so many open questions about like obviously we knew that they were like getting back to him, but like I wanted to know what they knew.
Right.
And like do we have a problem on our hands? Like they've been doing criminal shit all over the goddamn place. But who cares? They can do criminal shit as long as it's not unnatural. I don't care. But Vince wanted to know what they actually knew, or if they were going to be a problem in the long run. So his plan was when like Grant tries to rappel down from the Ferris wheel, to just tackle him, get his weapon off of him, and then question him in all of the chaos.
Would have been a very bold, risky thing to do, because like you try to get close to him, you know, bonus to the firearms skill for Grant, you know, he could have very well shot you. So many bad things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Happened. But if it hadn't, would have been fucking badass.
Absolutely. But the thing is, he didn't want to kill an innocent in his mind. Like, yeah, that dude's a criminal, but he's not dabbling in the unnatural. He's actually going against it. So he didn't want to kill him.
Yeah, meanwhile, Harley
to be fair, he did shoot at you.
Yeah.
Grant did shoot at you. So, like,
he
saw
obviously.
threats, which is why he shot him. I mean, like, there's two different diametrically opposed viewpoints.
No, it makes sense. It makes sense from every perspective.
Exactly.
It's just
Makes
good
sense.
to hear. Vincent.
Oh, no, I get
Yeah.
it.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yep, that was what he had planned for that, which, as we all heard, didn't work out. But, I mean, it's a kind of, we didn't have to deal with the Eisenharts.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that could have also gone a number of different ways. You could have had, I probably touched on this in the Stonefall postmortem. I'll touch on it again. If y'all talked to the Eisenharts and you had successfully gotten Grant to not do his shit, y'all could have had a graveyard shootout, you know? Like...
Yeah.
Fuck you, Haney. This is what you took from us.
Were there
Exactly.
any other moments, Jan? Or were those just like the main ones?
Those were, I think getting into a top 3 would be good, because I could talk for hours about how much I have a man crush on Lukas and how much I...
I mean, I'm probably going to break the top 3 rule.
Everyone here.
Well,
has a
he's
man crush on-
he's a German, so, you know. The token is a German.
Yeah, I guess the final thing, and I'll shut my mouth and allow it. I want to hear from Harrison. He's been quiet, and him and Caius, they've been quiet all day. Biggest thing is, if Vince had, like, let's say he had made it through Ephemeral Gargan, had not gotten crippled like he did. Like, let's say he made it out fairly easily, but obviously with all the damage he had taken thus far. Where do you see his character going in terms of his spiral? Do you see him turning first on his therapist and then his dad, or vice versa?
Oh, that's such a good question. I never projected on his dad.
It would have been all the therapists then.
Yes, the therapist took the first hits, then seeing
Dixon
transform, and when obviously not going to the therapist to see his father. So he was down to 8 from 10, and during Ephemeral Garlic, I projected twice, only on the therapist. He just rekindled the flame with his dad, and I think even though he knew his therapist essentially for longer,
it's
in the last 10 years.
At that point, once you've reconnected with your dad, I mean, that'd be huge.
Exactly.
There's less of that tie.
He gripped onto that rope of onto that string. Maybe it's not even a fully rope; it's just a string. He like his dad was just at 5 points. So I think the spiral would have been absolutely to go after the therapist first. Maybe trying to get that bond to stay, but if it doesn't, it doesn't.
Yeah.
I think once he slips into depression and then alcoholism. At least when he slips into his alcoholism, the bond with his therapist will be depleted somewhere around that time.
Yeah.
Because they in the session they also talked about hey, you can't just go out and drink away your problems, and then it's just why not?
Why not smoke away your problems too? On top of that, with the cigarettes.
Yeah, the fuck you mean I can't?
Yeah, so I absolutely
Isn't
think,
that what it's for?
absolutely think that his therapist would have been gone.
Who wants to go next between the two of you, Harrison or Caius?
I'll go next. I think So for me, my favorite Vince moments were when he was just talking to people.
Oh fuck! We
Because-
lost our face. Sorry.
I mean, he has a
I mean,
10
still.
charisma, so
But his persuade was
But-
high. His persuade was
Nope.
decent.
Nope.
I
21.
believe. Nope. Oh well.
no, Kimball's
Fuck.
persuade is like in the 80s.
Oh fuck me then. Okay. Never mind.
No, but I mean that's a testament to just Lucas's personality. Like anybody you play is so
It's that
charismatic.
damn German accent.
And so kind, like you come across always as genuinely kind.
Mhm.
And that's because you are, and Vince was,
Mhm.
right? But it's like when you're talking to Haney, right, in Stonefall, and we're down in his basement, and you're like, oh yeah, just like write your number, and you turn to us, you're like, oh no, we're not calling him, just like, or when you were talking to Bart and you gave him some extra money,
Gave a
even though
motherfucker
he didn't
$50.
ask for it.
No, he asked for 20. Yeah.
And you gave him advice on how to continue. You could have just been like, "Go fuck yourself." I'm good. Like you didn't. You were just Vince was gentle and normal and empathetic and understanding. And that continued throughout. Like in his interactions with the fellow agents, he never got aggressive. The rest of us had,
Issues.
like interpersonal issues, but Vince stood there as like a grounded center. You didn't have that conflict, and that plus the home scenes, like that, the misery of that. I mean I understand there was some hope there, he's rekindling, yada yada, but I brought it up before, I'll bring it up again. The toaster thing
No, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
wrecks
That's
me.
probably like
It
the most
wrecks
real.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's so real. It's so real. I mean, I had a toaster in my house that I threw
What the
away
fuck?
recently. Like, yeah, I had it for like 5 years and it was broken. I was just like, I don't want to throw it away.
No,
Like, I just can't.
it's-
I don't care. Because like I have depression, so like fun fact.
We're
But
all mentally ill
I
here.
think we
such
all
a
are.
real moment, and then that plus I'm sorry, I'm done after this. But
No,
like
it's okay.
plus the little when you were like, oh, he feels happy. He feels like he's smiling. When you first did that, my instinct was like, oh, this guy sucks. Something's wrong with him. But you kept playing him, and I was like, oh shit, that's actually pretty fucking sad. And when you did it the
Right.
second time, I was like, ooh boy, that's a bad side.
that's-
That's rough.
Are you referring to when he
Yeah.
was driving the
it
car?
just became like rougher and rougher.
Mhm.
Both times he got like a call to come out, Lukas was like, oh, and he feels happy, or he
Okay.
smiles
Yeah.
despite himself, or he feels like a leap of like, it's like, oh, so like listening back to it especially,
Yeah.
so gutting. Like I love how you sprinkled those little things in, and he's such a, oh my god, I'm so sad he's dead. I'm so sad he's dead, but also it creates such crazy tension because now the loose cannons are left.
Oh boy.
Was a fourth unknown. Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I feel the first time I did this was when he got the call, when I said like he's really excited about seeing like the green triangle and all of that, like seeing
Yeah.
the invitation, and like every agent knows like that's not something to be
No,
excited
it's
for.
not. No, it is not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but
yeah.
but for him it was just like he's needed to do this bigger thing.
Oh. God, it's so shattering.
That hurts. That hurts a lot.
Yeah.
Oh God, Harrison.
So I really enjoyed the ingenuity with the Ferris wheel. I thought that was pretty. And to qualify all of this, I am listening for the moment. I am listening along with everybody. I did not listen to the pre-release that we all get. Didn't listen to it. Haven't listened to it for Stonefall. And so I'm not completely caught up at this point. But the Ferris wheel was definitely top 3 moment. And also same thought with Caius. When he was excited to see the green triangle and his whole interaction with her about the no, I didn't drop this. Yes, you did.
Perfect.
And then
Yeah.
it was spot on. It was spot on. And also, again, I feel like I'm piggybacking, but that's what happens when you go last.
I mean, I'm
the
going
scene
last,
with-
motherfucker, but go on.
the scene,
I got the
scene
handler
with,
side of things.
this scene with Bart,
Mm-hmm.
the whole interaction
so
where he could have just whipped out his pistol and said,
Yeah.
give me the tape. And instead he was nice, calm. He was a little bit weird, and I thought Max played that pretty well with the "what is wrong with you, dude?"
Mm-hmm.
And then when catching on and okay, seeing it, hey, and you both kind of had that moment there where it's like, this isn't normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't normal.
I
That
can
was
see
a
it on
very
your face,
interesting
mister.
shared moment.
You know, like, and then the way you just
Yeah.
kind of subtly played that off, you know, that was, you
Mhm.
know, makes sense.
And I'd like to add just one more because it just came to me as you're talking. In Ephemeral Garlic, Kimble is down. He's trying to get this child out from under the bed, and Vince stepping in and directing his gun at the doll that this young boy is scared of. And obviously it is a monster, right? But even the idea of him stepping up and doing that to offer some feeling of comfort, of protection, and it being genuine, right? Like his intentions are genuine in that scene, whereas like Kimble's were not. Like Kimble is not attached to this 4-year-old.
Kim was like, "Nah, fuck you, kid. I'm gonna throw you to the doll." You know, like.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
I
I'm
know.
saying more so that for Kimble, it wasn't like, oh, I gotta save this kid, versus for Vince, it was like, okay, well, I need to step up. I need to do the right thing. I need to take action just in case. I need to protect, my men. I need to protect this innocent. Like just little moments like that really grounded him as a character, and made him fit to be the leader, and unfortunately fit to die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My moments are a little different, but that's because I sit with a horrible Eldritch knowledge of the content mines. And
Which,
So-
by the
Back
way,
to him.
so
back
so
to it.
hey,
As soon
fuck
as we're
you,
done here, get back
motherfucker. Fuck you. Anyways, all right. So for me, if I had to quantify, my first one would be the whole he smiles thing. For me, it was when Vince was driving the car, the Ram Charger, and he was smiling, right? He's just sitting there smiling, doesn't even realize it, like, I'm gonna fucking kill this dude. Like, because you feel alive, right? Like, that was just such a raw, real moment, and it also led to our Happy Vince emoji on our Discord, which after me making him smile. So, that one was, I was like, God damn, like, to me, it was like, that's a dude like in his element. He is like raring to go. He's ready to get shit done. Like that really I mean, I knew that already, but like that kind of like really solidified it for me in that particular moment. Another moment for me was just the well, this will, I guess, in a way be a spoiler for you, Harrison, but when they are dealing with the aftermath of the whole Dixon
Who
thing,
cares?
you're gonna hear it this week anyway, because we're recording this before the drop. But when you all are just talking about how to deal with the Dixon corpse and how to deal with the house,
Yeah.
and then Eddie and Scott were just arguing, and Vince was just like, light match, drop it on the corpse after dousing it in gasoline and just fucking ending the argument there. I was like, it was like a one cold moment. Like, yeah, everybody was considering everything and like how to do this. And Vince was like, nope, fuck it, we're doing it this way. And like, that was like decisive action right there. I love that shit, dude. Like, I was hoping for a moment like that to come up, and it did. And I was like, ah, yes. End the argument. And Jan even said, yep, nope, just end the argument there. So, and you get to burn a
Made our
house
mind
down.
for
It's
us.
just
And you got to burn a house
another
down.
moment that really sets him as, like, again, as that grounding force, as that leader. It's just awful.
Yeah, and my third thing, like I said, all my moments are different from you guys because I sit here and I live with it and I process it like it's an actual like storybook or novel or movie in my head. Like, the whole apartment scene with Frank Mars, with Vincent Scott just methodically going through, like actually being actual investigators, like, and then like me getting to introduce like, oh, Vince has some knowledge of this. Like it's adjacent. It's not exactly the same, but like he could build this. And also just that whole scene in like in the bed and breakfast, like spending hours and hours of time just building that shit, and then just everybody just like Vince keeping a cool head, being like, we need to get up to the relay station, and like, you know, just the man took decisive action. Like he knew what to do. He was always in his element when it mattered, except when, you know, the unnatural will always get you in the fucking end. You know, so, but, I mean, I love all the shit that I get to edit. It's fun for me. The Ferris wheel shit's fantastic. Like, that was great too. But, like, I wanted to hone in more on, like, slightly different things from my perspective of how I see it, you know. I guess, do we have any final parting words that we want to say about Vince?
Red silence.
Well, now I have to. Now I have to go do more paperwork and find someone. Ah, yes.
CARRADINE is unhappy. So,
which I will say, kind of like, you know, honorable, like kind of honorable mention, fun, you know, favorite moment. I say fun, but like favorite moments with Vince. You know, the apartment scene, especially like the way he, you know, the way you worked with like the landlady and that worked that.
Yeah.
Again, you know, a situation where you could have,
yes.
Yeah, you could have very easily just pulled your gun and been like, "Give us the
Apparently,
key."
we all seem to think.
Pulls your badge. Or something,
Lucas. Lucas, the last time I ran like a fucking game in White Gold, the man was like very murder hobo-y. Like you were like you were trying to bring an outlaws mentality to a program game mentality, and I'm just like,
hey. To be fair, when we played White Gold, I made that character with the outlaws in mind, and then I was like, oh fuck yeah, we're playing program. Oh fuck, you're right.
Wasn't that the one where I came in for like 2 minutes to give a piece of information and you were driving?
Yes, because my intent was to give you more to do, but then
right, and then I never lined up again.
Yes, because life sucks, and then you die.
It was so aggressive. That character was so aggressive.
Yeah, took your gun and everything.
White Gold was Nazi Barn, right?
Nazi Barn Wizard, in which Jan's legacy
yes. Oh,
Ice Pick died. So
I loved
a canon event in the 9mm retirement universe, but one you all will, you know, it's
never here because we didn't record it,
and it's program, not Outlaws. So
we're
so
in,
fucking
like,
far
years in the future.
Yep, that's 2022
way in the future.
So
hey man, if we do a future,
40 years.
I'll bring that agent back because she's awesome.
Yeah,
but final parting words that we can give in memoriam for Vincent Peterson.
So the biggest thing is that Scott will, as long as Scott lives, he will keep that Polaroid from.
I wanted
to
say
hotel.
you have that.
And so Scott burned all the other photographs of the team that he took for to see if they were distorted, but kept the one with Vince.
Oh,
yeah,
damn,
yeah.
I mean,
nice. Like, yeah, I mean, I think I have some very nice words for the end, because I think that will also hit for every character that will die. And that's while Vince may be dead, or maybe banished to the Signal Realms, who knows. He only dies once he's actually forgotten. So he's still there.
Aww.
And he'll probably still be there for a while at least, as long as you guys don't just randomly bite the bullet.
Yeah. I mean, there's also other things, too, that I can, like, he could appear in a previous time, he could make a cameo appearance in, like, somehow, some way or whatever. I got ways of making things work.
I mean, in the end, ultimately...
It doesn't even matter. No, sorry.
He lives... Well...
You quoted Linkin Park in that moment. I hate my brain.
Shut up! In the end, he lives in the game, in the universe. Obviously, like, oh, he's in our podcast. Go back, listen to our episodes over and over and over again, and boost our our SEO. But like, legitimately, we've played games together for how many years?
It's
now?
gonna be
Like a
it's gonna
couple
be 2 years coming up this year in October,
Yeah,
which
like,
is
we've been
crazy to
playing
think
together
about.
for 2 years, and like all of our agents, like I remember all of our games, and maybe not every detail or every name or whatever, but these stories live, forever, and we're all. I'm not so egotistical to be like, oh yeah, we all put our whole souls and art into our characters, but like you do a little bit, right? Like you live through them,
Yeah.
and you get to have them experience a world that we're not a part of, right? So
Yeah.
they always live on. They always matter. Yeah, and Vince matters.
And I will say, I went into this telling the others that, yes, this is Delta Green. Yes, your agents could die horribly, but I wanted you all to come up with strong backstories, strong bonds with your agents. Make them fleshed out real people, even if they may only be around for one mission. That's important, man. Like, to me, doing this shit, like, I've said this before. If I'm part of like a one shot, yeah, cool. But like, if I never get to explore that character again, like, what the fuck's the point, man? Like, yeah, it's like at that point, if you're just playing a one shot with a bond and you're just projecting on them, it's like they're just kind of there. If you're not like interacting with them, there's no meaning to it. And like, I told all the guys, I'm like, essentially bring me your best shit. Put as much as you can into any of the characters that you come up with, so that way I have a lot to work with. The others have a lot to work with, because that's why we do this shit, Like, we connect with these characters, even though we know they're not real people, but like, we make them real. That's what this shit's all about. And there's a cat on the screen right now with its butt in the air.
That's Nimue. I will say, like, a fun fact. A fun fact is, like, when Vince was dying, Lukas just went and saluted with like the biggest smile on his face and just stayed like that for a few minutes, like, while it was happening.
Yeah, we got a picture of that. Maybe we'll.
Because oh my god.
Yeah, maybe we'll post that when the episode drops.
We can
in a few months.
Yeah.
In a few months, because the future and the past are all melding together. Time is a flat circle if you're Rust Cole or the King in Yellow.
Wonderful.
Anything else, or I think we're good, right?
Yep.
All right.
Well, anybody else have last words? Harrison, Jan?
Womp womp, roll new character, bitch.
I think we can cut with that.
And the music comes in.